turn that heater off. Hello, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. So it's time to do the last art tag of 2025, seeing as it's December. We've done one every month based on a theme. So this month, obviously with it being almost Christmas, the theme is going to be festive. So it doesn't have to be Christmas, but it could be Hanukkah or any other celebration that takes place around about this time of year, or you could just celebrate the winter solstice, which is coming up in a few days. Monday, I think, 22nd, or is it 21st? I can never remember which one it is. But anyway, it just means that after the 21st, kind of 22nd, then the days start getting lighter again. And then we're on that slow slope to spring. Yay! So can't wait for that. So I've already taken my tag out of my tag journal. So these are the 4" by 8" tag journals. I sell these as a set. You get the acrylic cover, you get the MDF back, and you also get the book ring in the set. And they're also available on the website if you're interested in joining me in doing the 12 tags of 2026, which I'm going to continue doing next year. So once a month there'll be a themed tag for the month for you to have a play with and have a go yourself. So you can follow along or do your own thing. It's entirely up to you. But like I said, 12 tags will go in there. You can use the acrylic cover, the clear acrylic cover, as your template to create the tags that go inside with any cardstock of any kind. You can use craft cardstock. I've used cream. This is actually called China White, this. But you can use cream, you can use white, you can use craft, you could use black if you want to, or you could just use scrap, whatever you like, any kind of scrapbooking paper or any waste that you've got to make your tags up for next year. It's entirely up to you. So I've taken my tag out that I want to use. I've already taken a sheet from my Small Faces art paper pad. So again, I think these are out of stock at the moment. I don't think I've actually got any in at the moment. I need to order some more to get these in. So they'll be in just after Christmas probably. And I've taken one of the sheets that's got multiple faces on. I wanted a smallish one, so I'm going to go with this one here. I like her because she looks almost Art Deco-y. So that's what I'm going to do as my main focal, but we're going to festive her up a little bit. I've printed off a piece of plaid, a piece of tartan background paper. So this was in a paper pad that I designed specifically for Indigo Blue. I didn't release this myself because, well, just because it was for them really. But yeah, so that was a tartan piece. I may release that as a digi download. I don't know whether I did actually release it as a digi only. Let me just double check. Just talk amongst yourselves for a second, because I could theoretically release this as a digi download only on the website. I'll just double check that, but I'm not really sure whether I did or not, because it was done earlier in the year. It was created and done around about June, July time, when we started getting ready for Christmas. I know, but we have to. In this industry, in the art industry, we have to kind of get ready a lot earlier. No, I didn't release it as a digi download, but I can do. It shouldn't take too long to do and set up on the website. So if I get a chance this afternoon, after I've finished doing this, I may create that digi download and pop it on. So if you're interested, just pop across and have a look to see if it's there. It should be. Right, so I need to cut that out. I did get some scissors there a second ago, didn't I? Right, so first of all though, let me just draw around the tag, use that as my template. There we go, just need a thin pen. That will do. Just with a thinnish nib, and I need to cut on the inside of the line. So just draw around, and you can do this with your acrylic cover that you get with your journal set. There we go, I can see that quite easily. All right, so that should theoretically be almost the exact size. Oh yes, almost spot on. Now, glue. There it is. So I'll just turn that over, and then a bit of crud on the end, bit of schmutz. So I'm just going to go all the way around the outside first. I'm not too bothered if I don't manage to get the exact right up to the end. Not that bothered really. You could come back in again and distress it with an inch of its life if you want to, with a blade of a pair of scissors or one of those edge scruffing tools if you've got one. Right, so we'll drop that down onto there. I've got a little bit of wiggle room before it grabs. Nice. In fact, I think we will distress it a little bit, if I can remember what I did with my distressing. I remember seeing it a minute or two ago. It's awful when you start tidying up and you move things around thinking, right, I need to create some space to work in, and then you forget what you've done with your distress inks. I saw it a second ago. It's there. There you go, you see. There you go. Right. I bet there's probably not a lot of ink left in that pad. I've had it that long. That foam's kind of falling to pieces as well. So if you're a tidy crafter or a tidy artist and you don't like distress and you don't like grunge, that's fine, not a problem. You don't have to do it. Like I said, you don't have to do it exactly the same way I do it. You can do your own thing, your own images, your own take on it. Just let this be your creative inspiration springboard, your creative trampoline, if you like. All right, so the next one, we said we wanted to use this girl here. So I'm going to cut her out. And the rest can go back in the pad for later use. And then I'm going to cut her out. Now I'm going to just change her neckline slightly. I'm going to bring that up from there and then cut round to there and then follow that across and then up to the line, the sketchy line, and then up and over. This one reminds me of Gustav Klimt for some strange reason. Right, so now come across with a hair there, but from down here I want to just thin her neck out a little bit and take that up there. There we go, that's better. Get rid of all those little bits into the bin, and then she can sit quite nicely on there. But I want to create a hat. I want to create a hat for her, so I just want to grab, that's the top of there. So I want to come down here, so we need to start around there. Boom, 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 boom. So about there, I think. And we're going to create some sketchy baubles. So we need a couple more. Lovely, that'll do. Right, so let's cut that bit of trim out. And we're just doing it all sketchy, not doing it in any kind of particularly precise manner. And then around, I'll just cut the edge off there. That's it, and we'll use that other bit later. God blimey, that's an old piece of card. That was from some prompt cards I did about 7 or 8 years ago, I think. And we'll cut that one around here. You could, if you had a circle punch, you could very easily just punch out a load of little circles in different sizes if you wanted to. But I kind of like my sketchiness. I like the sketchy lines. Right, so yes, like that. And then what we'll do is we'll just drop that piece of card back in again. About there. Or should we do it that way? Let's do it that way. I like that. Like that. And then we know where the top of the tag is. So what I can do is I can sketch up and we can do another big. So that's around about there. All right, so let's put that to one side, and then I've got a red Posca pen. And then we'll just colour that in. Actually, let me grab a brush. And we'll just grab some of that paint then. That's what I love about these Posca pens. They're so versatile. You can either use them as a pen or just drop the paint onto your worktop and actually use it as paint if you want to. There we go. There we go. Sketchy as you like. Right, so we just need to give that a quick blast. Okay, so that really was quick. And then we'll cut that out. I wouldn't worry too much about being too precise. And if you've got any raw white edges, just grab your distress ink again and then we can just go around the outside. And the fact that it's kind of like uneven paint, I kind of like that. Let's grab a wet wipe. Ooh, new packet day. Ooh. There we go. Just get rid of that. All right, so now we have the little trim. So what I want to do for that, just come back in with that pen, and this time just kind of go around each of those circles just to make sure it kind of reiterates. And it also gives you the impression as well of it not necessarily being, well, they're not perfect circles, but almost like there's a bit of fur or some texture there, as well as being very, very sketchy, which is what we like. We love sketchiness. The sketchier, the better. And I don't mean sketchy as in dishonest. I mean sketchy as in artistic. There we go. So again, we could just go around the outside with a little distress ink, just because, just to kind of unify everything together. And then we want one more, don't we? One more. We need a bit of a bobble to go on the top. So let's just and again with the distress ink. All right, and I think we've now got our basic ingredients to start sticking things together. Now, before we do that, let me just go around her, because we've done everything else. Doesn't take long. Okay, so let's get the glue. Pop her down like so. Then we'll get the Santa hat, Mrs. Santa hat, Ms. Santa. Ridiculous is that. Right, then we'll stick that on first. And then we'll do this. Come on, glue. all along there. We'll do it that way. Have I done that the right way? Or have I done the exact opposite of what I said I was going to do? Just push that up a little bit, just curve it a little bit. There we go. Festive girl. Right. So now I've got some indigo blue pigment powder, and this is gold cast. So this is one of those iridescent paints, or iridescent shimmer paints, that don't look like anything until you actually paint it onto something. And it looks like the water's a bit mucky, but it doesn't make any difference. There you go. It then turns into a gold paint. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to come in, just add some gold shimmer. Just like that, and maybe a little bit over her eyes. Just because. Because it's all about. There we go. We always have a bit of sparkle at Christmas. Right, I'll have a quick tidy up, clean up, and then I'll be back in just a moment or two. Alright, so that's dried. So I'm going to come back in again with that pen, and I'm just going to go back over the top. Just where it's kind of lost some of that sketchiness. And then just on her eyes, in a crease of her eyelids, just to kind of reinforce that back again. Because you can do that with those luscious pigment powders. You can put them down and then you can bring them back again later. Right, so washi tape. Let's add a little bit of festive washi tape. Let's see what we've got. We've got some polka dots down here. We've got some plaid. We've got some, no, I like naturally the tartan. Let's stick with that tartan. So let's just do that across the bottom. Maybe a bit longer. There we go. Just to kind of give it that little bit of Christmassy feel to it, because you can have textures on textures. Let's have a little bit down here as well, because why not? What else have we got? We've got lots of Halloween ones, but they're not really appropriate for Christmas. Oh, we've got some green stars. Excellent stuff. So just a small piece of green stars as well. Because why not? Why not indeed? And then if you really wanted to, if you had the time, in fact I've got a white Posca pen here. There we go. We could actually do some little white stars in the background, just because, again, for no other reason. Just a little bit of doodling, and then we could just add a little bit of highlight down there, and then just down a hair. It'll catch light in her eyes, and maybe just a little one on her lips. Like it. Maybe a bit of white paint in there. You can do as little or as much as you want. There we go. Right, let's give that a quick blast. All right, and just to finish off, I'm going to add just a little quote at the bottom of the tag, because it's Christmas. She could believe. There we go. And why not indeed? So on the back, I'm going to write the theme, which is festive, and that is December 2025. So I can now add that back into the journal. So that's just a recap of November's, which was numbers up. And then we can just add that to the back. We haven't added the whole back in yet, have I? Whoops. That's going to have to go right there. I haven't got my crocodile with me. Oh, I'll tell you what. Let's just grab it quickly. Like I said, I did tidy up earlier, and now I can't find a thing. Right, so let me just line that back up with that one there, and there we go. So there you go. That is my festive December tags. And the final one for the year for 2025. That now completes all 12 of my 12 tags of 2025. So I hope you've enjoyed watching me create this fun little festive tag today. If you have, please remember to give the video a thumbs up, share it with your friends, and if you haven't subscribed to my YouTube channel already, you can do so by clicking the button at the end of the video. Don't forget, those tag journals are still available on my website, and like I said, I will try and get that tartan, tasty tartans or whatever it is, festive tartans, as a digi-download before this goes live. So once again, thanks for watching, and I'll see you all again very, very soon. Bye for now. Bye. I'd like to say a huge thank you to all of my angels, because without you, these videos would not be possible. And don't forget, you can access your exclusive angel-only content over on my website. There's a link in the description area below. Thank you.